consider as a council and say, oh, well, we will move this forward into an agenda item, or we need to move it into an agenda item, but it needs research first. So can we ask staff to research it, get back to the council with their findings, and then council can determine when they want to deal with it on the agenda. We have a lot of things, we have a few things that have time sensitive things, time sensitivity to it, so they have to be done, you know, like things you brought up. But we have other things that we don't have time sensitivity to, and I would like us to become more aware and do things a little more carefully and with deliberateness about considering items on the, for the agenda, being able to consider that item and put some good thought into it, so that we're absolutely positive about how you're voting. You know, what, are you saying yes to something and you really are comfortable with what you're saying? So that's one way to really to prioritize something, because not everything has to be done immediately. So my feeling is that if you haven't gotten something to the city administrator by Tuesday, at 5 o'clock, it's not gonna be included on the agenda unless there's a time sensitivity to it, that it has to be looked at. And that very well may be, I mean, because we do have people running at the last minute and ask for, oh, I have to get permission to do this, I have to get permission to do that, so. You know, I understand that. But that's what I'm looking at. Now, if you think that's too cut and dried, then say so.
I just have a very quick question there. If we have a work session instead of a business meeting on the first meeting of the month, is that gonna be held here, or are we gonna do that in the WAC?
I know we haven't decided that. I would say we'd be at the way.
Because talking about public input on some of these resolutions and things, if it's been discussed at the work session, if the public's been told about and able to attend, although we don't have input, at least we can hear what's being talked about, and then we can make our public comment at the actual meeting, because there's not enough space.
So let's just say the WAC.
Yeah, it'd probably be better.
That we would help hold those meetings at WAC all the time.
Thank you.
That makes sense. Dawn, you know.
I just want to remind you that there is something in Robert's Rules of Order about being able to add items at the meeting to the
Yes.
agenda.
Yes, there is. And any counselor has the right to add an agenda item. These are just rules that we can choose to follow ourselves and say, you know, as a rule, a general rule, we want to make sure that this happens. But yeah, you're not prohibited from doing that. Just like in Robert's Rules of Order, any counselor can continue to talk for as long as they want to talk. It's a council rule that, I know, it's a council, it is most council rules that, you know, you say, well, you know, 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. But there is no, in Robert's Rules of Order, there is no reason for the mayor or for another counselor to interrupt a council member who has the floor.
So is there a time limit for this council in the rules? I'm just curious.
I thought I read something.
There is somewhere. No, there isn't. No, there is not a number.
9 p.m. is one thing that's been established.
But we have established we need to have the meeting done by 9. So if you start talking and 9 o'clock comes.
I just want to make sure Stan doesn't hog the floor.
Okay. Yeah, so.
But that could happen.
So what is an agreed upon time that counselors need to have agenda topics into staff before published? When's the deadline that would be reasonable?
You know, I want to say it's going to depend a little bit on how much, what they got, what, you know, what's the issue, how much, whatever has to be done. And I'm trying to remember, I'm changing gears. Was it 10 days was kind of what you were talking about?
Yeah, I
10
think we're
days?
talking about Tuesday before the Tuesday before
Tuesday, the week before the meeting.
Yeah, of the meeting.
That would be ideal. That's,
So that
That's
only
the-
after your council meeting, only gives you a couple days to get your
right.
topic into the staff if you have a topic.
Yeah, because think about it this way, at least for me, this is how I justify it to be, and it may not make sense, is that agenda items are things that you realize in your community you want to address. And it can be specific items like, you know, I think we really have to address the swing sets at Green Waters Park. Or it could be other items such as, I really, you know, I really don't like the way this ordinance reads, I think it's confusing, or a completely new topic of, I think we need an ordinance that addresses this. Those are things that each of us, we need to be thinking about individually, and you can bring to council. There will always be items that the city administration will bring to council and say you need to consider. But these are items that you as a counselor are near and dear to your heart, or you realize is something that's important, and you want to bring to place on the agenda for the council to discuss. So this isn't just, you know, the last minute, you know, I got out of my car and I thought, oh, hey, this is a great idea. It's something that this is your agenda, these are your, perhaps what you even ran on as a counselor, that this is something you want to do. I know Mr. Hadley has lots of things. He probably has a list on his bathroom wall that says, I want all these things addressed, and that's his agenda items. Those are the things he needs to bring to council. So that's how I look at it.
Well, and I believe that when we were talking about this, I think before you were sworn in, that the purpose of the work study was just for that purpose. Each counselor, I wanna talk about whatever it is you wanna talk about. I wanna talk about swing sets. I wanna talk about the water system.
We can decide then what goes on the next agenda.
And talk about, okay, is this something pertinent that really needs action and needs to be, I wanna talk about the code of conduct and ethics, and I would like some changes, and these are the changes I propose. Could you bring forth, council agrees in the work session, staff bring forth a resolution to the next meeting. So that's, as talking to the mayor, that's kind of how she's been feeling that the work session would really the business of the council forward into the council meeting.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. And so I got all the ordinances and stuff that has been done. Through the years, I printed them all out. And I know there's been changes, but when I go on the website, we don't see any changes. I can't even find the ordinances in there. Who is the responsible party to keep this up?
And that is a great agenda item, because we know that we have to update that code. And we can do that, first of all, this is an item that actually in the admin committee, Louis and I had talked about, 6 months ago, I guess, about starting that process by having the admin committee gather up all the ordinances that have been added since that book was done, and put them in the right spot. And then that usually gets sent out to a firm and they codify it. And so what they do, codify it, I guess it's called. And what they do is not only just add them all in, but they go through and look and go, okay, if this ordinance eliminated this ordinance, if this ordinance refers to this ordinance, and just completely put it in the right language and in the right, and then we get back that book coded again of ordinances.
Right.
And you're right, that needs to be done.
Because when I look at, me and James is very close for 10 years. And James comes to me for information. So when I look through the years, you'd say, Don, can I see this agenda? Can you tell me this ordinance? I got the planning commission ordinances. I have all of them from original. So when I see stuff that has been done, no changes, and then I have heard the city administrator, not this one, but the city administrator say, yes, we're gonna do that. I heard Paul say something in one of the meetings I bring up that, because it kind of bothered us in my last thing, people putting in these committees. And he said, and if you look at the minutes, he did say that something needs to be done. We need a timeline, if you put this committee paperwork in to the city hall, it needs to get to our agenda packet. And when I see that several of them didn't come to the agenda,
So you're talking about applications now?
Yep.
yes, I'm talking about that is one of the things, needs to be, I understand we want to take the dates off, but I know that it was made. He did it. Louis said, I'll take care of it, and it never was, because I went back and watched tapes, and that was pretty interesting to me, so then I did bring it up, did I not, Paul? And
Really should be date and stamp that goes through there.
it's just a simple thing, for staff to make sure that, when this paperwork come in, so this person says, oh, I put it in, well, that's why when this last forum call.
One of
And
those,
we talked about that, and we had our meeting.
so that's one of those things that when we bring up, when we sit and talk about our committees, And we also we're gonna talk about the application process. It's also, that is to be added to it. Because you're right, there are too many things that get said and then we don't follow through with them. That's one of the reasons why I'm trying to like put some boundaries around the process so that we have the ability to take a minute to think about what we're gonna do and record what we do and okay, what's the next step? We just can't do it on the fly all the time. And I have felt, as a counselor for the past couple of years, that a lot of this was just on the fly. It's like, well, okay, what am I doing? Oh, okay, yeah, all right. I don't have an opportunity to change anything or to bring anything up. Or I do, but I didn't take that responsibility. This isn't anybody's fault but my own. As a counselor, I needed to own that, and I didn't. And a lot of the counselors didn't. So we're just waiting to do whatever it is we were told. And so this is an opportunity, because I've had that experience, for me to build that into the way we have our council meetings. So we will do that, and we can do that. So that's my 2 cents. But you're right.
It's just like the ODAC committee. I got all original ODAC committee, all the paperwork,
Yeah,
all of it.
I do
And so
too.
when you look at the ODAC, it had rules,
Yes,
but the rules have been changed.
yes.
So if you see that the rules have been changed, where do you go to find out where these
I know.
new changes are?
I know, they
This
just
is-
passed the new
Bizarre.
ordinance and all of that, so that,
But I have the ordinance as it was, and it's so confusing, you go in there and you think, to me, this is something for the citizens.
yes,
If I'm sitting outside and I say, okay, can I park a trailer on my piece of property? Well, I'm gonna look at the ordinances, and guess what? Half of the stuff is not there, so,
Right. it is an issue.
and then they come to you, or
It is an
me,
issue.
or.
And I send them to you.
Please, quit doing that. I have plenty coming to me, but I didn't put it in there.
All right, let's
So
get back.
can we go back to council rules? We didn't really discuss what we're gonna go from here with
What
that.
happens?
Just to take a look at it and see what we think. My thought would be to maybe develop a small subcommittee to look at them in more detail and just kind of pull together some sort of resolution.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, I think that's a great idea, and it should be a subcommittee of the council.
Absolutely.
So,
And since I really would like to see this happen, I'm more than willing to participate in that. So,
is there any other council that wants to follow on that?
Do.
Or-
It's hard in this
I
guy.
know it is.
Yeah.
Anybody?
I will if there's
Enough
no one
things
else.
to do.
Yes. Yeah, I don't mind participating in it also, but I want to make sure that,
Well,
Is it good, Rob?
I'm willing to do it, because I'll bring a lot of the stuff that I already have for these committees, that laws and stuff, and what's been done. And actually, these things have been put out before.
okay, well, we need to be specific about what this
Okay,
is.
just like,
Are we talking about the code of ethics, or are you
if you
talking
have
about
a
council
code of
rules?
ethics and you put this together, right?
Hold on. Are you talking about code of this, or
I
are you
am.
talking about council rules?
I think they all,
I don't think they're the same, they're two different things. Code of ethics covers how you conduct yourself, and also covers staff and volunteers and everything else. But council rules is how we conduct our meetings, as well as how we
And
conduct.
if we break
it
these
within
rules, what happens to the
And-
individual for, this is something to, can you
Yes.
tell me what happens? What, let's
Yes.
say for instance,
Well, and that's one of the things that
It needs
we'll
to
also
be done.
consider, is what are the consequences if we don't do that? So which are you talking about that you wanna be a part of? Because you can't do both at the same time, they really need to be separate.
I'm gonna take them one step at a time.
That's what I'm saying, which one?
Yeah.
Which one do you wanna
which
do?
one?
so we really have no council rules that are just a council rule. They're all
Chapter
found in
30.
a lot of different places.
Yeah, we don't have any of those, that's why,
This one is technically already a resolution.
that's code of ethics.
I know,
but it's
Not
a
the council
resolution.
rules.
I know, that's what I'm saying, it's already a resolution,
Yes,
so
it
it would be very quick for us to take a look at this one.
Sure.
Yes.
You wanna start with that?
I think this one makes more sense because
Okay.
it's already done. We could look at it, maybe it's great, maybe it just needs a little bit of modification.
Okay.
But it already in the email has a resolution number and anything, it just for some reason didn't get transferred onto this.
And then if it
This
did get
one.
transferred, then how do we know it's actual?
Because it's in the
It's in the
meeting
minutes.
minutes, which is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where.
And the
But this
resolution
one-
can easily be amended.
Yes.
Correct.
We can amend the resolution.
But this one, I have barely got to look at this, but I do like it, but this would probably be a little bit more work.
Okay, let's start with this. And, we'll start with the code of ethics. And Bobby, you and Chrissy,
Unless there's someone else that doesn't have a burning desire for it.
and Paul, and I know Dawn, you said? Okay, so the three of you, will look at this, pull up the resolution,
The code of ethics.
yeah, the code of ethics. Pull up the resolution, find the number, review what it says, and come back to the council with your recommendations.
So that's me, Dawn, Kristen.
Yes.
Would we come to the council at a work session first for that?
Yes, okay, come to council at a work session, and so no long, so let's just kind of say, let's not let it go any longer than the end of March, but when it's ready, bring it to the city administrator and say, okay, we're ready
So,
to do this.
so how about, since our first meeting in March is a work session, maybe we have an agreement that we bring it to that?
Okay,
So March
first
7th, I
meeting in
think
March.
it is.
March 7th?
I think so.
Well, we've got a workshop on February 2, 7th? Well, that's right, both the
Same,
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 okay.
same.
Yeah,
Same
March
calendar.
7th, so no
Yeah.
later than March 7th, but we'll plan on that, March.
So I have
Yes,
the code of ethics part, I think this is, I see there's some confusion there, because I have some confusions, because this is a mix of council rules and code of ethics.
yes.
And, just another thing, you should probably have a little bit of union buy-in, if you're gonna make the union people sign something, just at least, because that
Good
could,
point.
if they're gonna get punished for it later
Good
on, for
point.
something that's in the document
So
that they
do-
signed,
So could we add a couple of people to this?
I would say that,
Or do we not do one like this for employees that are covered by a union?
I think it's a good idea, but I think the council rules and the code of ethics should be separate.
And the other question that I would have about, because I totally agree with you.
I do
Is-
too, but I'm
is
wondering
it-
if it's already a resolution, was it already ran by legal?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, maybe not legal is not the right word, but like,
I'm sorry, union.
if I change a policy and there's anything that has to do with
Oh,
collective
absolutely.
bargaining in it, if
Okay.
I
It
don't
goes
let
through the
them know,
bargaining.
then later on, and we discipline someone for something that's a rule that we made, we're gonna jam ourselves up, because if, they at least have to look at it and say, we looked at it, we don't care,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have these issues, or go forth and conquer, that way they at least, even if you disagree and say we're doing this anyway, at least they have the opportunity to look at it.
So this committee then, when you look at it, that's what's gonna be
It
something
may have
that
already
you
been
need to
done.
determine. Has it been reviewed
Yeah.
by the attorney? And you can find that out. You know,
That would be easy to
and the
find
rest,
out.
that'll be easy, just check in with, Suzie, and it hasn't been reviewed by the union. Does it violate, check with human resources, does it violate any of our, are we asking union employees to do something that we can't ask them to sign? And it may be that we just have to eliminate,
The union
Staff.
employee, the only person in the union employee that actually is the city administrator, I think the union. I think it's a different, is
No.
it a different,
no,
you still,
he's not a union.
no, I
He's not.
understand he's not a union man. He isn't a union man, but Kevin is a union man.
No,
They're not
no.
union, So he's a contract too. So,
No.
so who's
No,
union?
No, he's a
exempted.
department head
Okay, exempted.
employee.
So who's the union person?
Everybody under 7 would be union.
So the rest of the police, except the,
Yeah.
Yes.
some of the volunteers.
And they'll
But
know.
that's easy to figure out.
That's
Well,
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question though, because when this says volunteers and staff, does staff always mean all employees of the city? Or are we referring to staff of just, the city administrator?
I believe at some point in time, my people had signed
Had to
this.
sign this,
so-
okay.
So it'd be all city staff, anybody that works for the city,
So public works,
you know?
Yeah, public works is union.
fire department,
Yep.
okay, all right, okay. So, yeah, so you have your job cut out for you.
Yeah, it's fun, huh?
Yeah.
I
Thank
mean, no,
you.
for real, to keep us in line, that's really good.
Yep.
Well, I just want to know how much
If one person
punishment
signs
I
something,
get.
everybody should sign it, it should be carried toward all of them.
I'm just hoping this was already ran by now.
Hope so. Yeah.
Maybe
I hope so
we'll
too.
look back documentation and find something of that.
So then, when do you want to tackle this one?
Next
Be the
week,
next question.
April. Oh,
Well, I
It
think
would
we're
be
being
hard to wait all the way to
I don't want to
April.
no, I think this for, okay, so one of the reasons why I think this is so important to me is, and and Mr. Messina brought this to my attention verbally as well as through some things he handed me to read about hiring a city administrator, is that, you know, one of the marks of a good council is the ability to know how to operate together and know how to work together. And council rules provide that framework so that we can begin to build that within it. The sooner we do that, the quicker we do that, the better chance we will have of securing the services of a city administrator who is what we need to have. If we ask a city administrator to come in and we still haven't gotten our acts together as a council and we don't know what we're doing, we don't know what rules we're following, you know, the likelihood of someone saying, yeah, I'll come in and be your city administrator are much less than if we have our acts together.
Yeah.
And this will help us. So for me, I would like to have this done like soon so that we can all agree to how we're gonna do it and begin that process of practicing how we do that. Because it will take time. It's not gonna, it doesn't just come naturally.
And I've heard that the League of Oregon Cities has a template also.
They do. They have a good template too, and it's called, their League of Oregon City rules are rules and procedures for council, I think is what it's called. And it is extensive. There, it's model rules of procedures for council meetings. So it is also very complete and clear. So that's something that we want to also include in reading material, just to say, well, maybe. And when I talked to the legal aid, I think she used the legal aid for League of Oregon Cities, she said that many small cities just adopt this because it is so thorough. So that's something that we may want to consider as we read through it, is just go ahead and adopt this, go through it to make sure that it doesn't contradict anything in our charter, and tweak it as necessary, but use this as the guideline.
So far.
To me, we have a charter committee, review committee, I mean, coming.
That's coming.
And when I look at League of Oregon Cities charter, because I'm very familiar with a lot of the charter that's been done. Some of the stuff is okay in there, and I look at the one where you went here in Cresswell with the sheriff, a lot of stuff that's been done. And I understand, and some of this stuff actually butts heads.
It does, yeah, I mean, just, if you, for example, on Crestwell's rules and Cottage Grove's rules, I can't remember which is which, but one says no public comment is allowed in work sessions, the other one says public comment is allowed in work sessions, so they have determined that themselves, you know, that's one of the things that they have decided, and that can be done, so that's what we need to do.
As a council body, it can be done
Absolutely.
as a hard mayor or soft mayor. That is something that, you know, in the meeting that I went to, they explained
Right.
all that. And
Right.
that was something that,
And we have a
Actually,
soft
isn't it?
mayor system, I mean, to change that, we would have to, that would be charter changes, but, you know, that's
but what
what
are
we're
we
looking at.
So I think this is a topic really that shouldn't be a subcommittee, it really should be all counselors to be
Okay.
looking at that and looking at this, cause it's really all of us. What if we set kind of some,
We get a
expectations for
copy of
us?
that, or is it our?
I
It's
have
on their
this
website.
You can
electronic,
get all of them, this is, to me and the counselors, all of you,
this one isn't on the website.
but a
It's
lot
on
of,
the
internet,
internet.
though.
a lot of
I
this
found
stuff,
it.
Did you?
Yeah, I have that, it's on our website.
yeah, all this paperwork, if you look at, you know, you have to spend time as counselors, but you can
I
find
look at
everything. I didn't make up these things that I got, I went on
No, so
the
to
end of
tell
my
you,
life
it's
printing
electronic,
out.
or I can give you a copy, either one.
I would have a copy.
So-
I'm not very good in that darn computer.
Yeah.
Doing that research is like,
You just ask your phone today, it'll tell you anything.
Okay.
yeah,
And if you'll notice on the League of Oregon Cities, if you go to the city handbook now, it's down, because they're revising it. I don't know when they'll get it back up again, but,
They've been revising their website.
yeah, so, just so that you don't panic if you happen
Well,
to
it's
see it.
2019 and it just.
Yeah, they're on top of things.
So, if we could all
So
set
we-
some expectations that we all look at this, look at that, and maybe by our next work session, we talk